Good afternoon. It is October the 2nd, 2020. And since I last hopped on for the video of the debate on Monday, a lot has happened. My name's Eliza DeVries, and I'm an evolutionary astrologer, a medium, and an intuitive. I also do a lot of animal communication, animal healing, and animal helping people when their animals are crossing over. This last 10 days, as all of you know, has been extremely challenging for me because we lost our two big dogs within 8 days of each other, and they were my darling. Well, one was my daughter's dog and one was my Bingo, and they both actually ended up being my dog. And they loved my sons very much. So we lost two great souls. The reason I'm hopping on tonight, and if you would like to contact me to get a reading down the road, my email address is angelicmercy44@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe and leave comments if you feel so inclined. I had two different people that are subscribers to my videos contact me today and say that 10 months ago I did a video describing the October surprise of this year, and that one of the participants running for president would become seriously ill, and that this would be a profound shock to America, and that one of them may not complete his term. But they didn't say which one. We obviously know who that is now. And so I wanted to jump on and just, without prognostication, without saying this is going to happen to him or this isn't going to happen to him, I wanted to talk about the last debate when I kept seeing a card of a man holding a reptile that had flames coming off its back. And I kept wondering, that was Donald Trump's card, and that card was referring to the anger he was feeling inside. And then I asked, what would the general energy of the debate be? And I got that same card with all the fire surrounding it and the heated up attitudes. And when I'm thinking about that in retrospect, I feel that he may have been ill at the time of the debate. His face looked very flushed, he was perspiring a lot, and I get a feeling that he wasn't well at that time. That is the message I got from my guides, that he was actually sick then. So when they're heading back into the people that he has collaborated with or been within proximity of close proximity, I would assume they're going to have to go back to last Friday or Thursday, because I feel that's when he was in a contaminating, infectious state. So rather than judging him, because I got a strong message right now, this can bring out the best and the worst in us. I admire that Joe Biden took down all his negative commercials today about Donald Trump, and that he sent out profoundly deep prayers for him and for his entire family, for his wife and his children. So if he can set that example, and I talked to a few people today and they're all pretty nasty about his illness, and I think this is something within us. We can acknowledge that the being is had terrible acts of commission and omission. He's definitely really exhausted us and brought out some horrific things within the United States. But when I think about the United States, and again go back to the fact that we're heading toward a Pluto return of the United States, and in the debate I was expressing how Saturn was exactly Donald Trump's Saturn and Venus were exactly opposite the Pluto in the heavens right now. So I felt that Pluto, again, as we talked about in the other videos, represents the coronavirus. Saturn is the lord of karma and retribution, and is also the place where we're learning, the place where we're going with it. Working with Pluto, it's like there's some crystallized structure within ourselves that Pluto's going to break down to hopefully awaken that person. Not just specifically him, but anybody that had that opposition. I had that. I have not had, I'm just thinking when Pluto was, yes, when Pluto was in Sagittarius, I had that opposition with my Saturn in Gemini. And I remember that was a very powerful time where actually shifted a lot of my life, and how I lived and what I was studying and the whole unfoldment of my nature. And I had to look at some pretty hard stuff in myself. So I would like to suggest that we take a moment to clear our heart and our feeling nature from revenge or anger or sending, he deserved that, or whatever people are saying right now. And understand, I read something beautiful in the Mother Mary cards, and it said, if another person judges us, which he judges everyone, everything, we realize that this is because they cannot love themselves unconditionally, so they're unable to love anyone else in that way. So we need to learn to hold a place of acceptance for them and what they're learning without being brought down by their wounding. When they realize that we still love ourselves and are not dampened by our judgments, for example, when Joe Biden stands there and he still loves himself and he's not brought down by all the horrific things that Donald Trump has said about him, they may wonder why and begin to heal through letting go of their rancor to that person. Now, they might not be ready to heal and instead become angry or sad. Our job is not here to make another person heal, as if that were even possible. Because we have to heal ourselves through self-reflection, through life experience, through looking at our life experience, and through being honest enough and to take responsibility for our actions, but also to forgive ourselves, to move on with a sense of understanding our humanness as well as our divine self. So our job is to inspire others when they are ready to be inspired. Now, he may not in this lifetime be ready to be inspired, or he may be cracked open at the deepest core levels through facing the reality that his own mortality is looking him in the face, and face his past actions. Or he may survive and come back to who he was and not look at it. It may be too much to look at. Whatever he does, our role right now, at least my role right now, not telling you what yours is to say some really deep prayers for all involved, because a lot of people are infected by him also. I think 9 people, they now say, in the White House are positive. And then, of course, we don't know of the countless others that he infected in the last few months, few weeks, few days. So I'm just starting out with that. I knew that of all the months, and I've been speaking about it since January 12th, that October was going to be the month, not because of the election, because of the aspects in the heavens. Many astrologers that have been paying attention have all commented the same thing, that if we can make it through October, we'll be okay. And that October, I made some notes that October was going to bring about a recognition of ineffectual leadership. These are my notes made a few days ago, and that there's going to be a profound dissatisfaction with leadership. Well, you can imagine people that have listened to Donald Trump going on and on and on about not wearing masks, and his family having an arrogance at the debate to take off their mask when it was a rule of attending the debate to wear masks in the audience. So there's people that are adapting the rules to serve themselves. What is the issue right now? Well, we just had that full moon in Aries yesterday, conjuncting Mars, conjuncting Mars and Lilith, and opposing the Sun. And what all that means is that we had a very powerful, fiery, burning day yesterday. And so with that Mars conjunct Aries, there's a lot about me, and a sense of self-sabotage. So one could almost look at the cavalier attitude and the reckless behavior of the entire family in the White House, and a lot of the people working in the White House to follow his lead, Mike Pence, etc. Because there's a me, and a cater to the me person that is in a way a selling out of ourselves and a sense of self-sabotage, self-bringing down. So 2 or 3 times in 2020, we have had this Mars that is headed up, and all of this Mars in this moon in Aries yesterday, squaring Jupiter, squaring Saturn. Mars was exactly squaring Saturn on the day of the debate. That's very much heated, but it's also about the karma of the, the Capricorn ruling the Constitution, ruling the structure of government. And so there's just a lot of anger about the rights and wrongs, the rules, and all the rules were broken, obviously, in the debate. So that was not surprising. On these, we're going to go along, and then we're going to reach a Mercury retrograde this month, and it's going to be retrograde in, I think it's around the 13th, and it's going to be retrograde in Scorpio, so that's going to be a lot of, there's Pluto again, a Pluto-ruled Mercury. So it's going to bring up a lot of angst, a lot of stuff, a lot of intensity, and we're going to, there's going to be a lot of the shadow that we look at. And also, Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, it's facing death, facing our own death, facing the way we talk about transformation, death, and a new existence. So I'm going to look at that with the cards now, but I just wanted to say that the hardest day I feel of the month is going to be on the 16th, on the new moon in Libra. That new moon in Libra is going to oppose Mars, square Saturn, square Pluto, square Jupiter. So that is the day of a lot of nasty aggression, and that's like the middle of the month, and that the 15th was supposed to be another debate, but I think it's highly unlikely we'll be having another debate, or at least not a second debate. So that new moon on the 16th, that's going to bring up a lot. And that period following that new moon, with the Sun and Moon in Libra, conjunct, squaring, again I'm saying it, Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter, and opposing Mars. It's a toughie. So then Trump has got the Pluto opposite Saturn opposite Venus, Pluto opposite Venus, and Biden is actually in astrologically a pretty good space with all the Scorpio is sextiling all the Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn. So it's not as tough on him. Then at the end of October, we've got the full moon in Taurus, and it will be exactly conjunct Uranus, and the sun will be opposing that full moon and opposing Uranus. That's another day that could be quite combustible and definitely break up some people are going to look at new value systems, like surely we can do better than this. What kind of values have we allowed in this country? Where the heck is the country going? It's like everything is just falling apart at the seams, that kind of feeling. But out of that, right following that full moon, as we get into November, I'm not going to talk about the election today, but as we move into November, it takes 2 or 3 weeks there, but things really start to clean up and get better by the middle of November. So hold that in your heart while we look at some cards on the next 4 weeks. So I'm going to do a card on the next week. A card on the next week, the 2nd to the 9th of October. The 2nd to the 9th of October. Okay, so I see that globally we're going to join hands more and help each other. There's the earth in the center, and you see people from all different areas joining hands. And you see the 5-pointed star, and you see people helping each other. So I would also say within the United States that there's going to be more unity in a way than there has been up until now. There's going to be, but the thing that I'm also feeling is while there are people that the best is going to come out in them and dignity and show that, there are going to be people that are going to come out with the most outrageous conspiracy theories, and people right now they're not trusting all that they're being told about what's going on with the president and what's happening. So I see that people are when I see this card, it's like people are looking out hesitantly from the right eye, which is the eye that is looking out at the world. This is the worldly eye. The left eye being the soul, spirit eye. Well, the left eye is seeing a lot, and the right eye is kind of skeptical, and it's all kind of in a shadow behind something. So there's going to be a lot that's hidden, that is not revealed. Let's do another card and see what that is about. Yeah, I think we're not going to be, people are going to be feeling a lot of emotion and a lot of fire. And so there's people that are going to be in the depths of their emotion over what's going on. And then there are going to be other people that are throwing up their arms. They don't know what to do. But there are going to be other people that are ignited with the fire of new understandings. And then there are going to be people that are just feeling plain fiery and angry and frustrated. So that's the first week. That's now over the next week. So I would take that, looking at those 3 cards, that people will be helping each other more in a way of wearing masks, social distancing, and showing some intelligence about how we proceed forward with the virus. I think you might be hearing Mike Pence talk a bit about it, but there's going to be a skepticism on both sides. And I just feel a lot of conspiracy theories coming up. I don't know why, but I'm getting that. So I'm going to trust that. The second week of November is from the 10th to the October, 10th to the 17th. Card flew out of the deck. Going to be a lot of anger, a lot of yelling, a lot of unrest, people on the streets angry. I don't know if they're going to try to push the election back, which they can't because it's a constitutional right. It could be just 2 people crying out. The other card I got again was a lot of emotion and a lot of fire. Now you have to remember, I've got a massive stack of cards here. To get the same card again means this feeling of fire, this feeling of emotion, this feeling of conflict, of thought forms, and also the feeling of divine wisdom. That's going to prevail more. And the very first card I got was a card of seeing a lot and feeling saddened by what was going on in America, but being aware. There's a card of, it's kind of like when you go through suffering or loss or pain, your eyes open in some way. I remember going to the funeral of my husband who died very suddenly, and when people came to the funeral, it's like I could see everything. All the masks came off people. I could see everything so clearly. I could see people so clearly. I saw almost like I could peel away the external facade and really see the raw person underneath. And actually, in some way, it increased my compassion as much as what I saw wasn't pretty or was... mostly it was frightened and angry. It's pretty interesting. So this looks to me like that kind of understanding that comes through recognition, seeing things in a new way. It might even be that some of Trump's followers who believed that he was right, that the virus was going away and things were getting better and everything was clearing up, he's rounded the corner. And so people sad to see that person they care about suffering and recovering. I'm not even going to do whether he recovers or not, because I don't feel that's my right to do that. I've been told always by my guides, even when I see outcomes, that I'm never allowed to predict if someone lives or dies. That is not my role, and it's an abuse of my sight. So I see here people coming to terms. Now, it could be the Trump followers going, he told us this was safe, that this was fine, that it was going away, and we're sad now because he was wrong on that. And people adopting a different perspective, and people crying out, people shouting, a lot going on from the 10th to the 17th of October, and of course that's getting into that 16th of October time that we talked about. And third week. I think actually I'm going to stop at the second week, and then I'm going to come back on, and I'm going to do the third week of October, because that third week and fourth week are very powerful, and I want to get it, be very, very clear and get it right. Thank you. God be with you. May we say prayer for all who are afflicted with the COVID, and families that are going through any kind of deep loss through hospice, and the sadness of not being able to be with their beloveds. And a prayer for the first family of the United States and their children and all the people that could have been affected by his illness. Thank you. God be with you. And onward and upward. Let's all pray. Let's all pray for the right thing to happen. But it was going to anyway, but that we increase our awareness and that everybody learns from this in a positive, expansive way.